to the one and the only. Give it up, ladies. For Lawrence. 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 Come on, give it up.
I gave up being a single man. And God gave me to ordain your hand. Flesh in my flesh, bone in my bone. You made me a happy home. Oh, yeah. Your love made me a believer. Well, you became my queen Sheba, blessing me with all your beauty. You became everything to me. I see the queen in you. You see the king in me. Let's walk in destiny. Show the world all our royalty. Many of men have ignored the chance of knowing exactly who you are. Missing the gem that is hidden so deep inside your soul. Many of men have wasted valuable time trying to control your body without understanding your mind. They only knew your qualities that make you so special. You see, they only scratch the surface. They only see your blessed appearance, touching you externally before disappearance. Yet they don't know your love. Sweetheart, I want to go deeper than that. I want to feel the depth of your soul. I want to touch the center of your heart. I want to see the warmth of your smile and hear the joy of your laughter. Do you remember when I said that if we lay down together, you would come up as one? That if we lay down together, you would come up with my last name. That if we lay down together tomorrow, it turns into eternity. Remember this. The very words that I've spoken brought forth life into my promises. And my promises only challenge the mistakes that I've made before. Thank God for patience. And upon that special night, the moon and stars became my audience. The shadows of our silhouette bodies danced along the walls of our bedroom. Our black skin melted together. Our souls entwined together. Under the covenant of God, we became one flesh. I have given you my rib to protect your heart from breaking. I have given you my seed to magnify your motherhood. And you have given me that hidden gem that no one man can touch. We have taken form of this black unity that our children can see. And with this unity comes the blessings from heaven above. The birth of Megan. Black love. So, one day my wife was pissed off at me, so I had to write a poem for her. So, here it goes. As a child, I remember going up to the apple tree. You know, the one up on the hill. How I wish that I could pluck the most beautiful fruit that I can get my hands on. Too short to reach and too young to know any better. God told me to wait. From a distance, I would just stare at her and wonder what she even tasted like. Oh, there were others just laying on the ground that somewhat resembled her, but they all lost their coding. Too short to reach and too young to know any better. God told me to wait. Disobedience became my downfall. Experiencing the bitterness of what I settled for left the very brown spots, the sore spots that I once had here, killing all the butterflies that were once there, and which I should have known better. As I grew older and much more wiser, I would gradually walk up to that same apple tree, kicking aside those that are on the ground, pushing away those that are still green, and making my way to what I found enticing. And God said, no, not that. Look beyond what your eyes can see. Go deeper than what your heart can feel. There she was, crimson red, beautiful, glorious. I selected the very best that was already ordained for me. Her juices added life to the very essence of my soul. And this is the reason why we should all wait upon the Lord for that apple in your life. Cheat sheet. I collected the tears of redemption on the breast of my Banana Republic shirts, absorbing a past that begged for healing. Before we broke bread together and Gerald said goodbye, we ate our meal together. As my wife sat next to me, she felt it odd that the conversation between Gerald and I wasn't fluid. See, we spit stories that seemed cordial, as if looking for matching pieces that attaches our history. Between talks, silence would take over what seemed to be like forever. Until the, hey, remember when, and have you seen so-and-so lately? Finally, my wife, the savior, would ask Gerald a slew of questions. Where are you from? How long are you in town for? Do you have any family? Killing the mute moment at the dinner table. As my wife went to the ladies' room, Gerald stood up and said to me, you know, I got a deadline to meet. I got all these deadlines and, you know, got delivery to me. So I have to get out of here. I stood up, handshake extended to wish him well. He took my hand, pulled me in, and said, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Soaking my shirt from a broken soul. Gerald Foster, machinist made first class, blonde hair, blue eyes, backwards North Carolina, had a different kind of navy for color folks. I still remember when he first came on board, drinking upon that dirty coffee cup, sipping and looking at me, and the ugly words he ever spoke to me. You know, Lawrence, there's only two things I like in my name. You're not one of them. But I tell you what, niggas and trash is one of the things I don't like. And I need you to take the garbage out. 25 years later, and all I can do is think about the conversation that we had and having a conversation with my wife as we're driving home together from dinner. But see, that day, God showed up with tears of redemption. I just so happened to be there with a box of tissues full of forgiveness. So, what if I said our lives matter instead of saying black lives matter? Would that make you feel comfortable? I'm pretty much included. That's the word you want to feel. Included. When the Declaration of Independence was signed by 56 men, when poplar trees claimed the souls of black men, when Mamie Till demanded an open casket, did our lives matter? See, there was a time when they thought we were 3/5 important. We bided our time for inclusion, fought and died in every war for America's freedom. Yet, when liberty rang, we became the back of the bus, wait your turn, second-class citizens. It's funny for those who state their claims, but all lives matter indirectly white out the discrepancies of a judicial system that blatantly proves otherwise. Does Rodney King matter? How about Katrina? What about Central Park 5? I'll even throw in Genesis. And how can we ever forget the Tuskegee experience? If it accommodates you, all lives do matter. But are you willing to lay down white privilege and go back? See, we step over a lump under the rug and we neglect it. But see, our lives matter too. But what happens is we look at our fingernails and see that there's dirt under our fingernails. It pretends that our children don't come home at night. It prevents the disparity of our children not understanding what's going on in this generation. So, our lives do matter too. We just color code so you can feel the flavor of our pain. No cream, no sugar, just a medium-sized coffee cup of bitter blackness. Because black lives do matter. Even if America pretends that we actually count. So I try to teach my son the ins and outs of what to do as a man as he got older. And this is one of the poems I recited to him. There's history deeply hidden. Our children have stopped searching. In Granddad's mind, rocking back and forth on the front porch, pushed aside seeing our neighbors, treasures and waiting. In Grandma's kitchen, too busy to visit her old-fashioned kitchen while frying catfish and baking cornbread. Mama spoiled you dependent. The government loves taking care of 16-year-old pregnant black girls. Go on, drop another dependent. Daddy showed you how to become a defendant, running from responsibilities, chasing after quick fixes. The government loves taking care of 16-year-old black boys incarcerated till execution for a crime not even committed. Street corners you into entrapment. Rims glitter, diamonds blink, dice rolls, popping new clothes. These are the trinkets of ghetto luxury, and nobody even thinks about investing in property unless they can carry. Public housing contains those that are financially challenged, recycling the same mentality of people below or equal their next door neighbors. See, we have become castrated. Public schools barely push education, but they'll push Rashawn to the 10th grade while still having the 6th grade reading. Our voices are whispered. Our voting power are whimpered. Lately, we've been put on pause, fighting for the wrong cause, and now it's time to rewind and press play. Listen to what history has to say. We went from picking cotton in the fields to picking cotton at the gap. History is hidden between the generation gap. If you don't believe me, you can ask your grandparents. We castrate ourselves from our own history. We sever ties from our own allies and suck with enemies as if it was the gospel truth. Because the cops call us out by numbers. The ghetto calls us out by name. Don't you realize that there are a select few that are circumcised to fit in? And there are us, castrated, cut off. When we as men neglect the neighborhood that we came from. Nunes, when we as men turn our backs to the community that we come from. Kid, when we as men don't pick up the mantle and be mentors to our own children. This is when the government comes in, whispers to our women, and says, you see, I told you so. how we have to put everything on our sleeves, right? So I gotta tell you a little bit about myself.
Sure.
I used to drink my problems away. I used to flip red money and lose. I used to scandalize women. I keep telling lies. Now I'm at the church spreading good news. And I'm looking up, keep looking up. Way hell, keep looking up. Keep looking up. No time to waste. Keep looking up. I used to justify my lifestyle. I used to blame everyone but me. I used to hit it and quit it, never would admit it. Come from being start to being guilty. And I'm looking up, keep looking up. Where you have, keep looking up. Keep looking up. No time to waste. Keep looking up. Pain doesn't wash away the seed of grass. Yesterday has a tendency to hold mistakes captive, throw it in your face and dare for you not to care. My feelings are the chains and consequences that stand before me, and the weight of guilt forms the stained soul that is captive for my good works. I've come to the conclusion that I wasted it. Wallowing in my flashbacks prevents me to take any steps further. Permits me to visualize what lies ahead because the quicksands and errors causes me to move little possible. It's funny how anger can build a definition, becoming the trials and tribulations of my past. Hate brings back flashback to bring about other problems that I have. But the real will always tell the truth of the matter, that I have wasted it. I used to drink my problems away. I used to drink my problems away. I used to flip red money and lose. I used to scandalize women. I keep telling lies. Now I'm at the church spreading good news. So, what I normally do is I'm work my 9 to 5 like everybody else, and on Sunday I'm an assistant pastor to a church for the homeless, the drug addicts, and those that are in need. But the problem is that to talk to people, it's easy for those to talk to people that are looking for hope. But when you have PK kids, y'all know what PK kids are? Preachers kids? They're the hardest people to talk to. The hardest people to talk to. So I ended up writing this poem for my son who's incarcerated. I remember the day that I got saved. Conviction way too heavy to carry anymore. Heard about a man who can turn troubled waters into a sea of forgiveness. I wanted that. I needed that. Now I stand before you, guilt-free from yesterday's iniquity, and it feels good. Today I am an assistant pastor to a church without walls, expanding breathing room for ex-felons, convicts, the homeless, drug addicts, alcoholics, and any discarded citizen that society abandons. Throughout my journey, I saw the blind see, the lame leap, the dead come back to life. I've healed the sick, casted out demons, spoke life into deserts that were bone dry. All while my son sits behind bars, speculating his fate. At first, shame held me hostage, putting my qualifications in check. Congregational lives made me second guess the position I held. How can this minister to those looking to be filled while his own son's life is empty? Condemnation tattooed my soul to question my eligibility as a father. Where did I go wrong? How did this happen to me? And what could I have done any better? It seemed that my past has found its way back to its own. I am put in this position to rescue many, yet my own flesh and blood treads deep waters. So why should a village be tended to when a lost little boy constantly crying wolf with bite marks to prove it? They say no child left behind. But how do I even go back to redeem my flaws as a man, as a father? My slate recollects chasing after dollar signs to the highest bidder, rather than making the pathway to guidance. My record reveals a call to the nightlife instead of changing diapers, checking grades, and directing discipline. See, it's not about placing blame on his mother, or accusing the streets, or even the bad choices that he has made, but about my partake to this barefoot, broken glass discrepancies that I now walk in. I wish that I can backtrack the many lessons or seasons given to exempt the excuses that I currently medicate myself with. But instead, I just pray that one day my son will outstretch his legs of freedom, welcoming the process of healing, a relationship that has been long fragmented. I know that Jesus saves. I know that Jesus even forgives. I'm just waiting for the day that my son looks me in the eyes and embraces the longing of a prodigal father. At first, wrong one. Thinking about her mother, Lisa contemplated on writing her. She just turned 15, back of the bus, snapping and blowing bubblegum, not a care in the world. She ignores the lesson and gossips over today's topic, gets confrontational with the teacher and realizes she forgot to take her prenatal care records. At 5 in the morning, Grandma sits in her wooden chair and collects herself. What lies before her becomes the daily chores that comes up most of her day. Besides, the washing, the cleaning, the folding, she still punches a clock. But what ages her the most is the wondering and worrying of her daughter being 5 years in on a life sentence. Apart from that, Grandma is almost guaranteed a phone call from the school department, wondering what Lisa done did now. Her skin is black, her arms are long, her hair is woolly, her back is strong enough to take the pain inflicted Her name is Sarah. Sarah. Her skin yellow. Her hair is long. Between two eyes. Where does she belong? Her father, rich and wise, who forced her mother midnight. What do they call her? Her name, Sophia. Her skin is tan, her hair is fine, her lips really right to the dance. Her mouth is fine as wine. Whose little girl is she? What do they call her? Sweet, sweet. Woo! Her skin is brown and her manner is tough. She'll kill the first mother she sees. Her life has been rough. I know she's bitter and angry these days because her parents' mistakes. You